Hey, welcome in Feeling You with Vic the Brick Jacobs. Take a look at him right there. And PJ. We're so happy to be here, excited. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I mean, everything going on in sports world going crazy. Pretty excited though, Victor. How you doing today?
I am fabulous. Thank you, PJ.
Yeah.
And again, I want to thank everyone for getting streamed right here.
Yes.
Feeling you with Victor Brick Jacobs and PJ. And first off, as we everyone heads to the beach and does their incredible stuff in the water, I want to give love to all the lifeguards who did incredible saves
Oh, all
um, over,
weekend.
over the holiday weekend up
Hmm.
and down the coast. I want to give love to our amazing lifeguards, one of our first responders, heroes. So many saves in the ocean. The rip currents were going crazy in Southern California. So thank you, to
Yeah.
all lifeguards and first responders and everyone, who saved lives
Yeah.
basically. Throughout the weekend, it was very dangerous out there. And I'll tell
Oh,
you, I don't go in the water much anymore, but when
yeah.
I do, I look for the lifeguards because, hey,
Yeah.
give, they will save your life and they don't get enough love and enough respect. So we want to honor them at all times. The
They
lifeguards,
uh
unbelievable
they
weekend.
Unbelievable weekend. And when you do go in the water, Vic, don't wear that hat because the sharks will they'll have at you.
There'll be blood in the water.
On the water.
There'll be
Well,
blood in
the
the water.
Lakers, we're celebrating the Lakers. They got a big man.
I'll tell you, the Lakers were in very sad shape
Yeah.
throughout the beginning of the free agent process. Brook Lopez, they couldn't even get Mario Lopez. They were lucky to get George Lopez. At one point in the festivities, and suddenly they hear an announcement that Brook Lopez was going to Los Angeles
What?
Clippers.
Clippers.
And everyone went nuts saying, Brook Lopez to the. I thought we all thought the Lakers were after Brook Lopez,
Yeah, yeah.
and then the rest of the candidates started popping up,
Right.
and Clint Capella. You thought maybe Clint Capella from Atlanta. No, he goes to the Houston Rockets, who had an
Right.
amazing free agency. We'll get to the Houston Rockets later,
Yeah.
but Clint Capella is gone,
Yeah.
and suddenly you say, wait a second, all the centers have left the Laker sphere, have left the Laker arc.
What are we gonna get?
And suddenly, as if Rob Pelinka's, mantra was, "Oh, basketball gods, help the Lakers here. We need a center." And there is DeAndre Ayton.
Yes. Yeah. Out of the blue skies comes DeAndre falling down to us right there at Crypto Center.
And a lot of people are down on DeAndre,
Yeah.
down on his behavior. Came into the league, a number one draft choice of the Phoenix Suns, 2018.
Yeah.
Number one. He was in the same draft as Luca.
Right.
Luca went number three that year. But, he had a nice year with the Phoenix Suns. People forget he had a very good year with Chris Paul and Ricky Rubio in Phoenix. He worked very well with them. I believe it was 18 and 10. He was average. He averaged. But then after that, somehow he fell off into the abyss. Behavior patterns. Apparently, missed a lot of practices. Was toxic in the locker room. Missed a lot of team meetings. So apparently, behavior wise, went into the tank and became, a freak out. And
Yeah.
the numbers went down. Respect for DeAndre around the league went down, and suddenly he was persona non grata.
Yeah.
But now he has a shot to resurrect a career, to resurrect maybe $100 million payday if he plays well for the Lakers this year.
That's right.
People are down on this. I'm up on this. I'm buying DeAndre Ayton stock. I,
Okay.
this is a crossroads for the kid. He's still a kid. What is he, 27, 28? He's still young. He's 7 feet.
I think he's 26. He's a young guy. Yeah.
Incredible upside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now he's going to play with Luca. Luca has a history with him. They share the same agent. Luca's excited about playing with DeAndre Ayton and vice versa. I think it's an incredible upside here, PJ, for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I agree with you. I think so too. And I think it's a one of those unions sometimes, like you said, he got off on the wrong track. Who knows if it's relationships in the locker room, or if it was the coach or whatever, he wasn't happy. But this could be a rebirth with Luca, and then I'm also very excited that we re-signed Jackson Hayes because I like that guy. I think he's got, he's going to muscle up.
It's a
And
good
I think,
signing.
yeah, yeah, it's solid signing. I mean, that's 14 feet of men between those two that we,
But
a lot of men, Vic.
is
So,
there rim protection?
yeah,
Is it going to be rim protection to get you past the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round?
that's
To
right.
get you into the elite, of the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets, and
Yeah,
uh, these teams are head and shoulders above the Lakers, so to speak.
yeah,
But now they have DeAndre, they have some rim protection, they have a 7-footer, like you say, they have Jackson Hayes.
yep.
Maybe Jackson Hayes can also give them some solid backup in the center position.
How about that? Yeah.
So for the Lakers, where it looked so dire, they were in dire straits. Suddenly, again, the basketball gods
Yes.
smiled on the Lakers.
Yeah.
Gong me, Ukes. Ah,
I
the
think it's
basketball
the
gods are smiling.
I think it's the luck of Mark Walters. I think he brings luck to teams, and I think maybe he brought some luck to the Lakers and this whole deal. So we'll see how it all plays out. It's going to be fun. People were talking back, well, not long ago, about Miles Turner maybe coming to the Lakers, but he didn't go there, did he?
Miles Turner leaves Indiana for Milwaukee. I believe that was a very, very tough move by Miles. Here, your team is in the finals.
Yeah,
Yes, Halliburton goes down. He's out next year with the blown out Achilles. And you go to Milwaukee. I,
yeah,
I believe Miles Turner. There should have been some loyalty there. I'm not sure how much money was involved. There must have been
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
to pry him away from Indiana, where he was sensational. He had some sensational games. He didn't have such sensational games. I liked him at center
I like
uh,
him.
on the
Yeah,
Pacers squad,
yeah,
but Milwaukee pries him away. So Milwaukee gets Lopez, but the Houston Rockets, the pickup of Kevin Durant and Clint
yeah.
Capella. I believe
Tarantula.
the Rockets, PJ, were the big winners so far in this free agent,
Yeah,
moments, which is winding down.
yeah,
But Houston really improved themselves.
yeah, yeah. It's a
Uh,
big jump.
to get Durant is still one of the most efficient shooters in basketball history. Still one of the most efficient shooters in the NBA.
Right,
Uh,
right.
he is an amazing piece to get to Houston. They still got Von Fleet, and
Yep.
they have a man there. They have a lot of talent.
A lot of
They
talent.
really didn't lose a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Um, they gave up Brooks, gave up Green, to get to KD, but Green was very inconsistent.
Yep.
Brooks, okay, solid, but you're getting Kevin Durant. You gave up some Flotsam and Jetsam draft picks, okay.
Yeah.
So Houston, definitely, I thought was the winner of the offseason free agency. At this point, unless some amazing free agent pops out of nowhere, but got to give it up to Houston.
Yep.
Clippers again. They pick up Lopez. I thought that was out of nowhere
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
pick up Brook Lopez to back up Zoo.
Yeah.
They might have the best 1-2 center punch in the league now.
It's huge. I thought that was a huge pickup, and nobody made a big deal out of it. But I agree with you. I think it came out of nowhere, kind of. And I mean, I think we would have been in the running, the Lakers, for that. They would have loved to have had him. But for him to go there, back up Zoo, like you say, and be ready to play, he's a player, and I think it adds a lot to the Clippers. I think it's good.
Oh, absolutely. The Clippers are still a contender.
Hmm.
They have been they've been sensational in the regular season. They just choke in the playoffs,
Yeah.
but absolutely a contender.
Yep.
I love the Brook Lopez move. He comes home. Remember, he's from LA.
Yep.
The Lopez brothers,
Yes.
Harvard Westlake. The whole local flavor.
Yeah.
But isn't it bizarre we haven't mentioned LeBron James yet?
Yes, it is bizarre because that's really a signing that just kind of went, well, it was expected, just kind of went underground and it's done. And yeah, it is bizarre.
But
But
what's bizarre, PJ, is he didn't get more than a 1-year contract.
right.
And all of his contracts, throughout his 23-year career, he's always had at least a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
But he only got a 1-year contract. Plus, the Lakers didn't have a love letter attached to it, as they did, his last signing. Where they were effusive in their respect and love.
Right.
Oh, LeBron James. But this time it was like, okay, he opted in for the $52.6 million.
Yep.
Now that's all you heard.
That's it.
That was it. So to me, is it LeBron James's last year in a Laker uniform?
Hmm.
For my vibe, it is. That
Yeah.
this could be it for LeBron, unless he just wants to finish his amazing Hall of Fame career in Los Angeles with Bronny, which is important.
Yeah.
Bronny did not play in the first Laker Summer League game, if that means anything. But Bronny is in limbo. Bronny's got to improve his game if he wants to stick. But it's not about Bronny, but it's about LeBron, who's still averaging 24, 8, and 8, which is amazing. He's still one of the top 10 players in the league.
Oh yeah.
And the Lakers have an amazing triumvirate, with Bron, with Luka, with Austin Reeves, and now DeAndre Ayton, in the center position. So the Lakers will be a threat, but so much depends on DeAndre Ayton. Isn't it amazing? You think, okay, LeBron's has to up his game. LeBron's game is going to be solid. LeBron's going to go 24, 8, and 8 again. That's just who he is.
Right.
Even 23rd year in the league, 40 years, fresh creative phenomenon. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He's going to get his numbers. But the Lakers at the top of the rim, they were so embarrassed.
Oh.
By Minnesota. Rudy Gobert embarrassed them.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert became the second coming of Shaq O'Neal.
Oh, he did.
It was embarrassing. So I'm glad they addressed the center position. Is LeBron happy with the squad? His statement is, when he opted in, I'm going to monitor every move the Laker makes. You think he's happy with these moves?
That's a great question. I guess we'll find out. I mean, well, he signed the deal, so hopefully he's happy with it. But who knows? Who knows if that was his pick, if he had input. They didn't really say. I would imagine he would have some input into, at least a respectable, what do you think about this idea, right? Something. They break some bread with him and they sit him down and they say, we're thinking about, this and, and Victor, in your mind, how does DeAndre stack up against Anthony Davis? If we're weighing, apples to apples or apples to oranges, whatever you want to say, but what do you think? How much did we lose by losing Anthony Davis? I know we got Luka, but just in that comparison between DeAndre and Davis.
Well, Anthony Davis is one of the elite players in the association. Andre Ayton is struggling for recognition. I don't think there's any comparison of talent. Anthony Davis is an all-star. He's one of the league's best. Andre is still searching, for a long-term contract.
Yes.
Anthony Davis is a superior player to Ayton. But, DeAndre, again, this is a mental thing. This is where you look at your career and you say, you know what? If I can just get my act together,
that's it.
I can come up with a $100 million extension. Be it with the Lakers or be it somewhere else. DeAndre is not guaranteed to stay with the Lakers. Let's say he has a good year. He's a free agent.
Right.
He could go somewhere else. So his career it hangs in the balance.
Yeah.
So I believe DeAndre will have a good year. I mean, a lot of players, once they hit the abyss, you're at the crossroads. Where do you want to go? What's in his tank? What's in his heart? Who knows DeAndre Ayton? That's going to be the key. Can JJ inspire this kid? So much depends on JJ's relationship, with DeAndre Ayton.
And if Luka can fire him up, right? Because they played together.
Absolutely. And DeAndre's antics in the locker room. I'm not privy to them. I wasn't in a Portland locker room. I wasn't in the Phoenix locker room. That's not going to be accepted in a Laker locker room.
Not at all.
All these hijinks. LeBron will give him one look from LeBron, and boom, that's going to be it. One look.
King James.
LeBron James. DeAndre.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Step back.
Let's go.
Take a deep breath, man.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah. We'll see.
So DeAndre, I think, has to wake up.
Yeah.
And there'll be resurrection. I believe in the resurrection of DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you believe in the resurrection of Mike Brown? Because do you think he is someone that goes with the Knicks? I mean, my feeling is he doesn't fit with the Knicks, and it's not what they needed. But he's got a great record. He's a good coach, but I don't know if he's a Knicks coach.
It's a great attitude, PJ.
Yeah.
For 4 years, $40 million, the
Yep.
Knicks shelled out
Yep.
for Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Coached the Lakers, coached Cleveland with LeBron.
Yes.
Back 15 years ago,
Yeah.
Sacramento Coach of the Year got the Kings to the playoffs. Um, but you're right. Does he have the mentality? The Knicks say we love the way he communicates with everyone in the building.
Okay.
Bottom line is, can you communicate with everyone on the squad?
Right.
And the Knicks fan base, which of course is rabid, and
Yes.
they deserve an explanation for why they fired Thibodeau.
Still haven't
Thibodeau,
gotten.
Thibodeau versus Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mike Brown. I like Mike Brown. I always
Yeah.
have. I liked him
Yeah.
when he was a Laker coach. We spent a
Yeah.
lot of time with Mike Brown.
Right.
But you had Tom Thibodeau. You
Yeah.
got to win 2 games of the NBA Finals, and you let Thibodeau go for Mike Brown. Knicks fans demand an explanation. They understand he's now the head coach, but New York Knicks, again, clueless and reckless. You see the brick Knicks. New York Knicks again, Leon Rose, Dolan, that whole organization. I dig you, Mike Brown, but this
Yeah.
is not your time. This is Tibbs' time. You see the brick?
Give it to him.
You freaks and
Wow.
dog me, you.
Nice gong, Ukes. Way to go. Wow. She really served it
I'm still
up.
very, very upset.
Yeah. No, I
I
don't
like
blame
Mike
you.
Brown. I like Mike
I,
Brown.
everybody likes Mike Brown, and
It's,
he's got the record to prove it.
he
And it's,
does.
and it's nice that he walks in and he can say hi to Shirley at the front counter and be nice to everybody. But Knicks is a different animal. The Knicks fans are different people.
Salient point, PJ. They're a different animal. They're
Yeah,
beasts.
yeah, and
Can he hold up under the pressure of New York? I mean, Sacramento is not New York.
no,
Cleveland is not New York. Los Angeles was tough, but it's not New York.
not New York. It's not New
The
York.
New
Those
York
fans
fan
are
base,
different.
they
Those
are
fans,
different, and they
yeah,
demand excellence.
yeah,
And they had excellence in Thibodeau.
yeah,
They ran into an insanely hot Indiana team, an
yeah,
insanely hot Halliburton.
yeah,
Miles Turner was going crazy. Their bench was going crazy. Indiana was a team of destiny to get to the finals,
yeah.
and the Knicks had a wonderful run. Got past Detroit, destroyed Boston. Even though Tatum was out with the blown Achilles, they still had to beat Boston, which was difficult. They were an excellent team. Although Boston is basically you know
They
destroying
dismantled.
the team. They're
Yeah,
destroying the team.
yeah,
I'm surprised
yeah.
Tatum is still a Celtic,
I
but
know.
it's
Yeah,
they're offloading. And
yes,
again, Al Horford's out there. So, for anyone
no,
looking for a nice center, or a nice backup, big forward, you got Al Horford. I
that's the
believe the
guy.
Celtics on loan. But again, in New York, 2 games away from the finals,
Uh,
they expected to beat Indiana. They had the talent,
yeah,
but not the bench. The Knicks have got to get the bench together. Mike Brown knows that.
yeah,
The Knicks management understands that. Knicks fans know it better than anybody. You must upgrade that bench, which was pretty much non-existent.
non-existent.
And Carl Anthony Towns has to play defense.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, there's certain weaknesses.
yeah,
Brunson doesn't play much D. Carl
yeah,
Anthony Towns can't play D on the pick and roll. So listen, I don't want to get crazy, but in this we have a long off season,
yeah.
but the Knicks have a lot of work to do defensively and as a group. I'll tell you, there's a lot of work defensively are the women of the WNBA. PJ, how they are so down on Caitlin Clark,
Uh,
voting her ninth among the players for the All-Star game
yeah,
is insane.
it's ridiculous.
The WNBA has been transformed by Caitlin Clark, and the women should know that. The women now have larger contracts. They're flying private jets. The attendance is off the hook. TV ratings are off the
Yeah,
hook. Caitlin Clark is the one who transformed the W, and she transformed the W.
but that's the trouble. You see, it's the jealousy that's going around. So even that the fan vote was the highest ever for Caitlin Clark, right? The
Yes.
over 1.2 million, almost 1.3 million in fans voted for her. But the fact that the players get to vote too, and they voted her like what, ninth guard or something, a ridiculous vote, but a hateful one. They,
Jealousy,
yeah,
jealousy. It's
yeah,
ugly.
yeah,
You should be giving love to Caitlin.
yes,
For upping your salary,
yeah,
upping your lifestyle.
right.
Amping up the league. So to the WNBA, the ladies, you
Yeah.
see the brick. You
Please,
see it, ladies.
you deserve it.
Get a grip. Give Caitlin some love. You see the brick. It's your freak. Gong me, you.
Perfect.
Caitlin rules, man.
Caitlin does rule. We love Caitlin, and I love what she's done and transformed the WNBA into a monster. It's a breathing fire monster now. It really is, and hopefully the appreciation will come. Wait to see what happens when she plays in the playoff game. You wait to watch the ratings on that one. Watch what happens when she's in playing. I mean, it's pretty amazing to watch. And it's also sad to watch how much they hate her and try to poke her in the eye and push her you know, but she's got
Try
to,
to intimidate her, and she will not be intimidated.
no, she won't.
And
No,
she's got a new partner, sort of like Marty McSorley when he was protecting Wayne
that's right.
Gretzky back in the day. Sophie
Yeah.
Cunningham.
Yeah.
Sophie Cunningham. I dig her, man.
Of course you do. She's a beautiful girl too.
And she steps up for Caitlin and
Yes.
protects Caitlin.
Yes.
And
And
now
big time.
she's getting a lot of bad vibes around the league because she was talking about expansion and
Yeah.
the players, they really don't want to get to Cleveland, or they don't want to go to Detroit.
Yeah.
And now people in Cleveland and Detroit think, Sophie, what are you talking about? We have beautiful
Yeah.
cities here. So Sophie is getting a lot of publicity. She's getting deals. She's
Yes.
getting
Oh.
commercial deals now because of her protection, for Caitlin Clark. I love
Oh
that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sophie Cunningham, lot of respect. Good
Yeah.
vibes to you. Keep
That's
doing
right.
what you're doing, Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah.
You're getting some heat, but you know what? You're protecting Caitlin
Yeah.
and giving the league, some nice drama,
Yeah.
some nice storylines, and that's what they need. It seems every league, no matter the sport, you need villains, you need heroes.
You do.
That's just
And
the way.
we got to talk about a hero because the K-Man, Kirschheiser, Hirschheiser, amazing.
I'll tell you, man. I'll
He's
tell you.
K-Man.
I was going to ask you, who is the greatest Dodger pitcher, PJ, in the history of the organization? Is it Clayton Kershaw, 18 years? Is it Sandy Koufax, legend,
Uh,
icon? This is a debate that runs deep. But again, let's chronicle Clayton Kershaw, 3,000 career strikeouts, only
I'm calling him the
20
K-Man.
only 20 pitchers
Yeah.
by the Kirsch.
Yeah.
Includes now the Kirsch. 4 left-handers only. CC Sabathia, Carlton's, in that elite mix as well.
Yeah.
For 3,000 Ks,
You
20
know,
pitchers only in the history of Major League Baseball. Uh, it's an amazing feat for Kirsch,
yeah,
doing
amazing.
it in the same uniform. Now, again, the argument, PJ, is Koufax was sensational in postseason.
Yeah.
In his day, which is 60s, there was no division championship. There was no NLDS. There was no NLCS.
Right.
Koufax only pitched in the World Series, and he was dominant. And he carried the Dodgers, who at that time they had singles hitters. They had Maury Wills steal a base, get pushed over the third, and then sacrifice fly. And there's 1-0 Dodgers, and then Koufax would hold the lead, or Drysdale would hold the lead. Give it up for Double D, the great Don Drysdale as well.
Yes.
Love the Big D out of Van Nuys. This is a great argument. Who, PJ, is the greatest pitcher in Dodger baseball history? Is it the great Kershaw? 18 years, 2 titles, Cy Young, amazing ERA, amazing won-loss record. But again, postseason, he struggles.
Yeah.
He's had his struggles. That is the only reason he is not far and away the greatest pitcher in Dodger history.
I agree with you. I think if he comes through this year with postseason play and he's able to keep this going, then I think we could talk about that if he's up there with Sandy Koufax. But if he doesn't, if he falters like he has in the past, then that's a different story, I believe. I believe you got to play all the way through, right? It's a full season. It's the playoffs. You got to be great in the postseason. You have to be. So if you can't, then how you gonna take that title away from Koufax, who I think is the greatest? And he's fortunate enough to have Koufax with him, and they're talking. And I saw him talking about how to hold a curveball and not to push the curveball out. I don't know if you saw that, but it was a great little piece that they did. And he was talking about how he always threw the curveball, and he was telling Kirsch, he said, you don't force it, you don't overthrow it, and it was great to see those two stars like that together. And they also did a little mix with Vin Scully of him
Oh,
because Vinny called, of course, the first and second, the first thousand and the second thousand. So the third thousand, they kind of took that and made it into a bit to where it was like Vinny calling, his 3,000th strikeout. It was pretty amazing. It was great, great stuff.
thing about Kershaw, which I think pushes him over the top for me, and I am a devotee
Yeah,
of Sandy Koufax. He's a natural leader.
yeah,
He's not a pitcher in the sense of every fifth day he goes out there and puts you in the position to win a ball game, which he has been for 18 years. He's
right,
a leader.
right.
Every player is inspired by Clayton Kershaw, by his work ethic,
Yeah,
but
he's great.
what he does on the field, what he does off the field with his beautiful wife Ellen.
Yes,
Everything he's done, in Los Angeles for his community work in Africa, Dominican. Uh, he is an incredible human being, Kirsch,
yeah,
who was very, very stoic. Throughout his first, I would say, 14, 15 years, he really didn't share much emotion. But the last few years, we're seeing him open up,
right.
and we're learning more about the man of Clayton, who Clayton is. But he is such an inspiration to the players. Koufax, I don't know. I know he was wonderful, incredible talent. Did he inspire the Dodgers day in, day out as Kershaw did? I don't know. I wasn't in that
Yeah,
period. I just
yeah.
watched him,
I don't
as
know, but
a young brick.
I think, as you said earlier, I think the thing that, as you read about Koufax, because we weren't there to see him, but at the same time, he had to win 1-0 games all the time. They had no offense. The Dodgers had no offense, basically. It was always like 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. He won all these games, which to me, I mean, that's extra pressure, but the guy just went out there and pitched like a madman and got everybody out. Now was he? It's different times too, of course. Kirsch has the social media. He's got all that stuff. It's a lot easier to do things then. But either way, I say this is such a treat because it's probably the last time we'll ever see anybody get to 3,000 strikeouts because
Very
no
true.
pitcher, no pitcher pitches past 5 innings anymore. And so they don't have the time in their career to rack up, even if they're good enough to do it. It's going to be very difficult to get to 3,000 Ks again, don't you think?
I do. And when they asked Kirsch who was one of his inspirations,
Yeah.
uh, and he mentioned CC Sabathia,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
Hall of Famer, for the Cleveland Indians and
yeah.
Milwaukee, and he explained that CC, got to 3,000, but he also carried a team on his back. He carried Milwaukee on his back and was pitching, workhorse innings, not caring about his arm down the stretch, about how many
Right.
pitches he threw, just to get Milwaukee into the postseason and just put a team on his back. And he had a lot of love for CC Sabathia.
Yeah.
After he threw for his 3,000th uh, against the White Sox, who were very feisty that night. Amazing,
Wow.
like
Well, they
they,
were all swinging. They did not
they,
want to, it's like every guy that went up there didn't want to be the guy to strike out. So they were all, if you notice, they were choking up on their bats.
oh
They just,
yeah,
they were just trying to get a hit. They didn't care if they got out. They did not want to be the guy that struck out in be number 3,000. So it was pretty funny to watch. It really was.
a magical night. Except of course the great Max Muncy,
Oh,
the mighty Muncy going down,
oh man.
and we all thought it was, we thought it was done for the season.
Yeah.
Of course, it looked horrific, but again, baseball guys smiling on the Azul,
Yes.
smiling on the Dodgers. It's
Yeah.
a severe bone bruise. He's out at least 6 weeks, which sounds terrible, but you know what? It's good news when it comes to that injury because it looked terrific. So again, thank you to the baseball guys.
Yes.
Thank you, baseball. You gong me, Ukes.
Well done.
Muncie back in the city, for Muncie going down, but Dodgers winning it, of course, a Freddie Freeman walk-off. That was beautiful. The whole night was so special at Dodger Stadium, 53,000. And the way it was choreographed, by the Dodger organization was just a sensational night. It was magical. It was mystical. It was surreal. It was beautiful. But
Yes.
again, we want Max to have a quick heal, and
Yes.
we revel, with Clayton. We celebrate the great Kershaw, and we celebrate also the great Otani-san celebrated his 31st birthday. Gong me, Ukes. Otani-san. His fourth
Amazing.
appearance on the mound, PJ, 2 innings, scoreless. It was 6 up, 6 down, struck out the side. Imagine when Otani-san becomes healthy
Well, Vic,
and can pitch, more than 2 innings.
let me blow the whistle on you because he is healthy. He's 31 years old now. Let's start to take a look at in full how many years can he do this? How many years can he pitch and play and lead off? How many more years think he could do that? Maybe 3, 4 more years before he has to cut one of those two out. And but right now he can do both. We have a manager, Dave Roberts, who treats him like he's a little league kid. He won't play him. He pitched 30 pitches, 31 pitches. He struck out the side. We're up against the hated Houston Astros.
Ooh, so much hate.
Yeah, they cheated against the Dodgers to win the World Series. They admitted it. The whole thing, we were disgraced 18 to 1 in that game. And then in the last game, which we could talk about, but it's not worth it. And then the next one, Osani Khan, our boy, he goes out and he gets 2 outs, 2 innings done quickly, nicely, and he pulls him. And he said, well, they asked him afterwards why. He said, well, it was kind of pre-programmed. Well, you know what? You in my opinion, you can't pre-program baseball or football. You can have a plan, but a plan is different than pre-programming. If he's only thrown 31 pitches, let me read you something.
Okay.
So irritated.
And again, PJ,
Yeah,
we pivot in different directions here, but I see
I
your
know.
point. It's a salient point, but please
I know.
continue.
Okay, please. So I looked this up because I just thought 9 to 10-year-olds in Little League, they're very structured. They can throw a total of 75 pitches a game before you have to take them out. Okay? 9 to 10-year-olds with their fragile little arms that are developing 75 pitches. 11 to 12-year-olds, 85 pitches. 13 to 16-year-olds, 95 pitches. He's 31 years old. He's thrown 31 pitches, one pitch for every year, and he takes him out when he knows we're up against the hated Houston Astros that they hate with a passion, and that they lost. This was just disgraced 18 to 1 the night before, and he takes him out because he says, well, it was pre-programmed, and he brings in Robo, he's a good pitcher, but you know what? When you're on a tear, Otani could have gone another inning at least. And if he went 4 and pitched 60 pitches, that's still less than Little League. Little League for 9 to 10-year-olds is 75. It doesn't make any sense. You can't do it. What is Dave Roberts doing? I watch him during the game. He's looking at his book. Vic, he won't look up. He's staring into his book, and I know what he's doing. He's playing Candy Crush. No, just kidding. No, he's thinking about the next game. That's where his head is. He's come up with this term, eat innings, where he just puts pitchers in. He doesn't care if they're winning or losing, if it's 10 to 1, 11 to 1. He's trying to eat up innings to get to save pitchers for the next game. Well, we lost 18 to 1. He came out in the interview afterwards and said, but we're in a great position to win game 2 and 3. Well, guess what? We didn't win game 2. Now we're in a horrible position to possibly lose all 3 because of him trying to hang on to all these pitchers. Let me tell you, if I was the owner of this team, I would pick up the phone.
If you were Mark Walter,
I would pick up the phone. And I know owners don't normally like to get involved, but with great respect, I would say, Dave, together, you and I look at the salary here of what we're paying these guys. Oh, let's see. I'm writing a check for $375 million a season for my team. And you're telling me with $375 million, I don't have enough pitchers that I have to put in three rookies back to back and let it go 18 to 1 to start the game and then two backup rookies and then end with a position player to throw the last inning as a joke again because I don't have enough 375 million, which is the top amount of money in baseball, isn't enough to get me enough pitchers to play a couple good ones each game. If that's what you're telling me, then there's something wrong here. There's something definitely wrong with this situation. There is. It's that Dave is hard-headed and he doesn't want to do the right thing and bring in the pitchers. You have to gamble. Look at how Houston and their coach Joe Espada.
Yeah.
Make me like to say that name. He did great yesterday using his pitchers. Did you see how he came out even when they're doing well? He took it out. He put in the other one. He worked it. He knew what he was doing. He worked his guys. Now I know you're going to say that some of our guys are hurt. Yeah, but we've got 18 pitchers. There's enough pitchers to do it right. We didn't need to do it the way we do it, and we never need to bring out a carnival act like we've talked about before and have Kike, or any of these guys do that. And then on top of that, he jerks out when we have a chance to win yesterday. He takes out Conforto and puts in a rookie and takes out another guy and puts in Ruiz, another rookie, he's batted twice as a Dodger in his life, and Hader just threw the ball by him. He never even saw it. He just boom, 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 strike three, you're out. I don't know what the guy's thinking. He needs to come to the table with some answers. He blamed Kasperius for the first loss. He said, well, he wasn't pitching well. Well, you let him go and go and go. And then when you did bring somebody in, you brought in a rookie that hadn't pitched. Then you brought in another rookie behind that. So you're the manager, Dave. We love you. But you know what? I think you got to step up and stop playing little league rules, 75 pitches, give. Oh, and then lastly, I'm going to leave with this. He was asked, said, when do you think Ohtani might get to pitch more? And he said, not this season. He doesn't feel it this season. That to me is crazy. They're paying him $70 million a year. $70 million a year. The guy's healthy. He wants to pitch. He's said publicly pitching is more important to him than hitting. He loves to pitch. And, maybe it's a thing where Ohtani has to go to him and say, look, I want to pitch. Maybe he's not doing that. I don't know. He's such a nice guy. Maybe he's not. But anyway, that's
PJ, I feel your frustration.
I hope you do, because I
I
really am
feel your
frustrated.
frustration. But number
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
little leaguers don't have Tommy John surgery, and little leaguers, don't have a severe shoulder surgery, and that's what Ohtani is coming off of. And basically, the Dodgers have the luxury of a 9-game lead in the National League West, where they can afford not to push Ohtani-san beyond this process, which is 1 inning, 2 innings. Next phase might be 3 innings. But it's all up to Ohtani-san. Remember, also Dave also always confers
I hope so.
with the show. How long do you want to go? And the show wants to go 2. He says, I can go 2, coach. I can go 2, sensei. So he goes 2. It's all a harmonious thing. This is not Dave saying you're only going 2. He asked Ohtani-san, how many can you go? And Ohtani says, I can go 2 today. In a week from now, again, the next start for Ohtani, maybe he'll go 3. But this is very, very planned out, and you cannot also. I know you want to see Ohtani-san pitch longer.
I do.
But the Dodgers have that luxury, PJ, of letting Ohtani-san pitch at this pace because they have a 9-game lead. And as you say, they have an abundance of pitchers, and a lot of the frontline guys are coming back. Snell's coming back soon. Glasnow's coming back soon. We don't know about Sasaki, but you got 2 frontline pitchers coming back soon. They're pitching to live hitters again. They expect them back, 10 days, 2 weeks, back in the rotation. If you get a Snell back in the rotation, a Glasnow back in the rotation, suddenly, everyone's fears and paranoia will be allayed, and the Dodgers will be right again. But they've built up that 9-game lead. That's a luxury, PJ, because the offense has been tremendous, even though people have been slumping. Mookie's been slumping, snapping out of it a little bit lately. Otani-san has been in a funk. Freddie Freeman's been in a funk. Teoscar's been in a funk. Imagine all these sensational all-stars, except for Will Smith, America's catcher, the all-star, having the season of his life, except for Will Smith and Paez. A lot of these guys are having off years. It's just amazing that they have this lead, but a lot of it has been the pitching. The bullpen has been lights out. Again, the Houston Astros are for real, man. They don't even have Alvarez or Pena, two all-stars in their lineup, and yet they're pulverizing the American League West. And they took control of the Dodgers series. And this is a very good team. I mean, this is who they are. The Dodgers, hit a funk, maybe post Kershaw, afterglow. I don't know, but Astros came in here and kicked some serious Dodger ass.
Ooh, did they?
And it was hard to see, as a Dodger fan, as we are.
Yeah.
But I got to give it up for the Astros came in here, and that 18 runs. It was amazing. You heard the great Earl Hershiser, the wonderful bulldog. Allude and hint, saying it's as if they knew that curveball was coming in the 18 runs. And people saying, is he saying that they were cheating? Didn't say that, but he was alluding that the Astros somehow knew the breaking ball was coming, and they destroyed the pitch.
Oh, they destroyed it.
And especially, and Altuve was going out of his mind.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone hates Altuve in Los Angeles. It's amazing. You think the Dodger-Padres series is the most bitter, or the Dodgers hated ones. Could be Dodgers-Astros as the most bitter, because the Astros took a championship away by cheating. And we'll never forget it. Dodger fans, they don't forget. They never will. The greatest fans, man. They don't forget. And they still give Altuve a lot of heat. And deservedly so.
Heavily booed. Heavily
booed. But they were a good team. And, we tell, we speak love our dad here. We speak the truth. And the Astros are a very good team.
Yeah, they are a good team. And they're going to do well. Expect them to be at the top at the end. They're going to be there in the playoffs, I think.
Well, the American League West, there's no one in the American League West who can challenge them. I mean, Texas, the Angels, forget about Seattle, but Seattle does have this Raleigh dude hitting like 35 homers at the break. Unbelievable catcher. It's unbelievable power.
Oh,
the dumper. They call him the dumper.
The dumper.
Because he dumps these 400-foot home runs. It seems every game, Cal Raleigh's having an amazing year. But again, it's a long season, PJ. It's a long freaking season.
I can't take it. I can't take another double that Mook tries to turn into a triple. I don't know what that was about, and gets thrown out by 4 feet. I mean, that to me is part of momentum, and I think they're not feeling it because it's just what was going on, and but that killed that rally. But anyway, we're up against it. We gotta get going here. I know we wanted to mention Wimbledon.
Wimbledon, Coco, first round out. Very unfortunate, but she didn't have enough time to recover from a French Open victory, and she even said mentally she was out of it. Americans left, not that many. I dig Ben Shelton, number 10.
Shelton.
I love what his shout out to his girlfriend, who was there. He says, Morgan Stanley, she's working. She has to go back to New York. If anyone in Morgan Stanley has any connections to get my girlfriend a couple more days here at Wimbledon, please. I mean, he shouted out Morgan Stanley, and it was amazing to me.
It was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. So Ben Shelton going to give you, props, going to give you some love.
Love it.
Rooting for Ben Shelton.
Yes.
Fritz is in there as an American, but it's very, very slim pickings in Wimbledon. It's a tough tournament, man. 2 weeks on the grass.
Yeah.
Very, very, and also a quick heel. To Red Panda, the great unicyclist who spins plates at half times for the last 20 years around this country and around the world. Suffering the crash. A quick heel to Red Panda.
Yeah. Yes, of course. And Caitlin Clark, by the way, had the team send a whole love to her because they love Red Panda. So anyway, that's a great way to wrap this up. So much fun, so much stuff to talk about. Let's see how this all shakes out next time we speak, which will be soon. Victor, it's feeling you.
Everybody stay safe. Everyone show the love for everyone around you. And thank you for listening to Feeling You with Victor, Brick, Jacobs, and PJ. I'm feeling you.